Okay, next up is Killing Them Awfully, a LitRPG GameLit adventure, The Good Guys, book number 11, written by Eric Uglin. It is 388 pages, $4.99, available on Kindle Limited. Here's the author's description. He's tried to ignore them for too long, but the long-simmering conflict between Montana's holding at Coggeshall and the Night Goblins, who also apply the valley, is about to boil over. Usually, goblins aren't anything to write home about, an enemy without much size, intellect, or weaponry. But these goblins, well, that's just not the case. These are goblins with limitless resources, never-before-seen tactics, and horrifying monsters at their disposal. Worst of all, they don't fear death in the slightest. They just might force a good guy to become what he's always struggled to defeat. Killing them awfully. Oh, there you go. That's pretty much it. This story really feels like an extension of the last book, book number 10. It was a very fine length, but it felt rushed in dealing with like the demon holiday thing, and it in resolving some storylines a little abruptly. This really felt like an extension because it does take place. It starts immediately after the next day of at the end of the last book, and it continues a storyline conflict that is expanded out. The stuff with the goblins really does come to a head, and some readers really thought that element of them becoming so overpowered so quickly was kind of out of left field, and I can understand some of their complaints on that. For me, I feel like, they've been built up enough where it's like, it is a bit of a stretch, and I feel like that's something that's going to be explored in like book 12 or 13, whatever. But it was just such a cool obstacle, such a cool fights that I can kind of overlook it in my enjoyment of just like the action that was a result of this like gigantic event that happens in the story. So this story really does have a ton of action, and again, this was very big battles that I really enjoyed, and some good storytelling that I liked. Like, and there are some issues of like, that seemed to escalate with them pretty quickly. There are, when looking back at the series, you're like, oh, okay, you can see some seeds kind of dropped here and there about their potential as an enemy, but it really, I don't think it was developed enough to necessarily justify for some readers. But for me, it was like, you know what, these battles were just cool enough where like, I can overlook that a little bit. I'm not, with the assumption that it is going to be explained in like the next book, book 12 or whatever. So for me, still had a good time with it. Almost great. 7.8 out of 10. Really good story, though. Always enjoyed every single one of the books in the series. So that's going to be Killing Them Awfully, The Good Guys, book number 11, with a score of 7.8 out of 10.